Good day everyone and welcome to Poser's full movie recap. Our story today is about a group of friends who heads out on a whitewater river rafting adventure trip. Initially, everything is off to a good start but things go terribly wrong and it escalates very quickly from their first night. The film begins with a woman driving through forest-covered road, away from her city life into a thicker nature. Her name is Joey, and she's talking to her boyfriend James over the phone while driving. Joey seems not too enthusiastic about the conversation, so James wishes her well on meeting her brother and jokingly tells her to run if she hears a banjo playing. She hasn't seen her brother for a long time, so Joey is looking forward to spending some quality time with him. As she arrives at her destination, Joey meets Gray at the lakeside while the man is giving some instructions to his clients. Gray runs a wildlife adventure company and as a part of this business, he is soon about to embark on a rafting expedition with his two clients, Carissa and Van. And Joey has also agreed to tag along. As introductions are made, Carissa and Van mention the name of their other companion on the upcoming expedition, which is a man named Trevor, and Joey is evidently shocked. Gray explains that Trevor is now working with him but it was supposed to be his day off. He adds that when the man learns that Joey is joining them, he quickly volunteered to go with the trip. Joey stays quiet about it and proceeds to prepare her gear for the journey. Suddenly, Trevor appears behind her and embraces the woman like an old friend which she awkwardly accepts. During their chat, it is revealed that Trevor has been imprisoned for some crime, and just been let out a few months back. Trevor expresses that he's been grateful for the opportunity that Gray has given him, so he can start his life afresh even though others still perceived him as a felon. As they prepare to leave, Joey still looks slightly out of place, while Carissa and Van gel up with the two men, despite this being their first meeting with them. Eventually, Joey starts to open up and enjoy the trip as the rafting adventure begins. They chat about anything and everything to get to know each member of their group, and at nightfall, they stop to camp at a spot inside the forest. They set up their tents, start a bonfire, and make merry with drinks in each other's company. When the group asks Joey if she's romantically involved with anyone, she shares about her boyfriend James who she has met at her workplace. Gray refused to drink alcohol, owing to the fact that he is going through sobriety and he seems romantically interested in his client Carissa. Joey is the first to leave the group to rest, but the night isn't over, as they are unaware that it will turn into a nightmare soon. Van temporarily leaves the group to relieve herself in the woods, and Trevor soon follows to do the same. Suddenly, the rest of the group gets alerted by Trevor shouting for help, and everyone including Joey rushes to where the voice is coming from to investigate what has happened. They discover that Van is gravely injured from apparently an accidental fall, and since Joey is a doctor, she instructs Trevor to get a big stick so she can stabilize her neck, while Gray goes back to the camp to call for help. After the two men leave, Van insists that she's fine and in a brief moment she tells them that he grabbed her. Before she can elaborate on it, Trevor comes back with a stick and a first aid kit. Gray comes back with more supplies and Trevor informs him that their satellite phone is not working. Joey asks where the nearest place they can get some help, and Gray tells them that Ranger Station 6 is about half a day's hike from their current location, but about 2 hours away if they cut through the river. Joey tells them that they have to travel soon in the middle of the night, as they might not have enough time to wait because Van is suffering from a skull fracture. Brain injury is extremely dangerous, as the fracture will soon start to swell and if not treated, it can cause Van to perish. As the group rushes to reach the ranger station through the river, they shout for help hoping that someone else can hear them. But so far, no one responds to them. Gray tries to make the satellite phone work, but Trevor dissuades him and states that he already checked it and it's not working. Van's condition gets worse and she starts to have seizures, so Joey helps her as much as she can but with limited resources on her hand, she can't really do anything more for the girl. With Gray's instruction, the group rows harder through the wild current of the river. Unfortunately, when Gray tells them to row harder to the left to avoid a big rock, their effort is not enough and they all fall into the water. Gray is able to grab their unconscious patient, and Joey rushes to revive her when she found that she almost drowns. After she stabilizes her, Joey tries to talk to Gray and informs him that Trevor has been sabotaging their mission to save Van, as he was the one who attacked her. Gray refused to believe that his friend is capable of something horrible like that, and before Joey can elaborate more, Trevor shows up and Joey excuses herself to leave. Sometime later, the group finally reaches the ranger station and the two men run to the hill to get the help they need. While running, Trevor stops Gray and asks what Joey has been telling him earlier, when he interrupted their chat. He tells Gray that he needs to know because there will be questions, especially with him being a felon. Gray refuses to tell him anything which upsets Trevor more, and it is revealed that the reason for him getting in prison is in fact because of Gray. With the new revelation and being reminded that Gray owes Trevor, the man promises that he has his support all the way. As they reach the ranger's headquarters, Trevor prevents the ranger from calling for help in a medical helicopter, stating that it isn't that bad and they should just put Van at the ranger's truck because it will be faster. The ranger insists to call medical assistance so they can decide what's faster, but Trevor continues to argue against it. When the ranger points his weapon at him, he grabs it and is able to shoot the man after some struggles. Gray is conflicted and tries to help the ranger, but his wound is fatal, and he eventually breathes his last. While looking at the commotion, Trevor points the weapon at his mouth but decides not to pull the trigger. He finally makes up his mind to become the villain of the story and demands Gray to let the dead ranger go. He asks Gray if he still got his back, which the man reluctantly answers yes. Gray then helps Trevor stage an accident for the ranger's demise by pushing his truck to the cliff. When the pair goes back to the ladies, Trevor tells them of the new plan on heading north to the border to Canada, where there are no border patrols. When Joey asks where the ranger is, Trevor admits that he's dead, so there will be no stop until they reach the border. She asks Gray to stop Trevor from doing it, but the man is feeling too indebted to Trevor and stays silent. Joey states that Van will die if they go back to the water, but Trevor is too far gone to care and commands them to get back to the boat. The group starts traveling back to the river, and Van loses her life along the way. When Joey sees a hiker on the bridge, she tries to discreetly alert him using the light reflection from her lighter. Eventually, the hiker notices it when the reflection hits his face, and asks if they need any help as he sees Van. Trevor assures him that everything is fine because they have their car at the next stop. After they are out of hearing distance from the hiker, Trevor starts to freak out and thinks that the hiker will alert the authorities, so he wants them to stop to finish the man. Gray tries to promise him that he's not going to do that, and this makes Trevor more upset and threatens to shoot him. Gray is able to persuade the man to just proceed with their original plan, because if they stop to finish the hiker, they will be in more trouble than they are right now. As the night approaches, they stop on a secluded part of the river and try to find somewhere to bury Van's body. Afterward, they walk through the woods while Trevor taunts Gray for saving him from prison time and tells Joey about it. He reveals that he's been imprisoned for dealing illegal merchandise, but the truth is, it's been Gray who has been dealing all along. At the time, Gray was expecting a baby when he got his girlfriend pregnant, so Trevor decided to step in and do the prison time instead. Gray retorts that he didn't ask him to do it, but Trevor answers that since they were like a family to him, he willingly volunteered to be punished for Gray's crimes. As the night falls, they stop somewhere to camp and Trevor ties their hand and legs to prevent them from escaping. Joey stays quiet for the longest time, but her patience is clearly running out. As the night goes by, she silently talks to her brother Gray and urges him to do something about their situation. She adds that he usually chose Trevor instead of her in the past, so this time, he needs to make the right choice. Gray denies this, so Joey tells him about an event when Trevor has taken advantage of her during one of their adventure trips. Gray again denies this knowledge, as he thought Joey likes Trevor when they were young. Joey says that she was 15 at the time, and there is no way that she would have conscious consent about a horrible event. Suddenly, the hiker shows up to free them as he secretly follows the group after the bridge incident. But Trevor wakes and without a warning shoots the guy, which immediately causes his demise. Trevor is upset and acts like a lunatic as if he is the victim of it all, despite the fact that he was the one who finishes 3 lives during their trip. He complains that the hiker shouldn't follow them and not act as a hero, and it's his own fault that he's dead right now. He then laughs when he declares that they need to bury another body, and Gray goes along with him to appease the man. In the morning, they go back to the boat with the 2 ladies' hands and legs tied, so Gray cannot sabotage their trip because if he does, the women will drown if the boat flips. Gray asks Trevor to let the women help to row, as they cannot be able to get across the strong current of the river with just 2 of them rowing, but Trevor refuses. Secretly, Carissa was able to get the hiker's Swiss knife, and uses it to punch a hole in their boat to delay their travel. When Trevor notices it, they stop to patch the puncture hole on the raft, and Gray cleverly uses a bear mace to distract Trevor and grabs the gun. While the 2 men are fighting for the weapon, it gives the ladies a chance to cut themselves loose and flee. While Carissa runs away into the woods, Joey returns to check on her brother when she hears gunfire and finds him with a gunshot wound. She manages to get him back to the raft and paddle away from Trevor. But the lunatic finds 2 men with kayak, and Trevor uses the kayak to chase after the siblings. Gray tries to instruct Joey on where to paddle, so they can cross the most dangerous part of the river. Unfortunately, even with Gray's knowledge of the river, the raft gets capsized and the sibling falls into the water. With the harsh streams of the river, Joey manages to pull Gray out of the danger. Suddenly, Trevor shows up and stabs Joey in her back, causing the girl to fall. When he's about to finish her off, Gray grabs Trevor from behind and pulls him into the river, finishing the man and also himself in the process. As Joey lies alone by the side of the river covered by dense forest, she has to treat herself to avoid serious complications because of the stab wound. Carissa aboard a rescue helicopter arrives in time to help and save her. Although it can be argued whether Gray redeems his actions from the past, the brother ultimately sacrifices his own life to protect his sister from the horrific predator. Subscribe to watch more videos like this. You can also hit the notification bell and like the video to help the channel out. Thank you.